What's happening, guys? This is Mike's Total Dragon channel, and I have got a huge stack of books here. These are all my new comic books from the past 2 weeks. My shop did not, due to problems with, I believe it's Lunar, they did not get any DC books. I don't think they got any Image or indie books as well over the past 2 weeks. All they got was Marvel. So today I got I got a chance to go down there today, and the guy told me, he said, he actually worked on Christmas Day. He went in on Christmas Day and managed to get all the boxes that UPS had dropped off for them. He got them all opened, put out on the rack. He called me down today, and I went down there and picked up all my stuff. And he was so disgusted with how Lunar was behind on their shipment of DC books to them. He said, fuck it, and he put next week's stuff out too. So I've got basically a huge smorgasbord of books here from the past, 2 weeks, or maybe 2 weeks, and then some of next week as well. So if I go over some stuff that hasn't come out yet, no snitching. But we will go ahead. There's a lot to get into, so we'll go ahead and start off. Cheetah in Cheshire, Rob the Justice League. This is issue number 6. This is the last issue of the Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott miniseries, so I'll finally get a chance to read this. Superman Kryptonite Spectrum, brought to you by the team from Ice Cream Man. This has been like a really cool body horror type book I've recommended, even though I never read Ice Cream Man. I am really digging this. Then Uncle Rob gives us Youngblood number 2 right here. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in here after reading the last issue. As I've said before, I've got literally no idea why this has really taken off and blown up as much as it has. Because to be damn sure, it's not based upon his ability as a story writer. And, it can't be people have a strong adaptation or a strong affection for any of these characters, Vogue or Chapel, or, there's not an essential Bad Rock story out there. So, as I always like to say, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And I guess I'm just as guilty as everyone else is. Then we have Battle Nexus Ninja Turtles. This is yet another. This is probably the first for the Ninja Turtles, but multiverse turtles from different realities, different continuities. All of them basically have to fight each other. So if you took all your toys that you'd had of Ninja Turtles and then just went into the backyard and had just a big old brawl, that's basically probably what this is going to be. Event Horizon Dark Descent. This is the sequel to the movie that came out. This is the last issue in it, so I'll get a chance to binge it. Night Fight. This is one of the miniseries that is spinning out of DCKO. Basically, Batman is in a different reality, and he's fighting all these different versions of himself. Jason Todd has taken the mantle. Tim Drake's taken the mantle. And Bruce Wayne's fighting all of them. So a lot of multiverse stuff right now. Wonder Woman, the Tom King book right here. It's not really much more I can say about this book that I've said at this point. I love it. Tom King's a very polarizing person, so if you haven't got onto it by now, chances are you probably aren't. Superman Unlimited. This has got Guy Gardner in here. As I have said before, I'm a big fan of this Superman book. It is very much one of the ones that you can read on its own. Dan Slott makes it really easy to drop into this book, pick up and go without having to know a whole bunch. Amazing Spider-Man. This is a new Joe Kelly book. It's been super good since Spider-Man went into outer space. Justice League versus Kong and Godzilla. It's another issue of the miniseries right here. Power Factory, or Fantasy. I got issues number 13 and 14. I had missed out on some of these. Exquisite Corpses, issue number 8. I did not get a chance to pick this up when it came out. They had a copy, so I got it. Void Rivals is not a book that I read normally. However, this is part 1 of the Quintesson War. If you are a fan of Transformers lore, then the Quintessons are, depending on which part of Transformers lore you go with, the Quintessons are the ones who invented the Transformers and enslaved them and used them for labor, and then the Transformers gradually freed themselves, and then they formed Cybertron on their own. So I saw Quintessons were attached to it, so I decided to give it a shot. Trinity, this is issue number 6 of the Tom King miniseries starring Wonder Woman's daughter. Absolute Superman number 14. This is the Jason Aaron book. I've seen a lot of people talking about Superman lately, about how Jason Aaron kind of takes a coward's way out and basically is not, what's the word? How do I want to phrase this? Is not deviating enough for script. You know, with this version of Superman, people are saying that this is basically, for all intents and purposes, has morphed into the mainline Superman book. So I don't see that at all. So I'm very interested in picking up this issue and seeing what everyone's talking about. JSA Year 1, chapter number 3. I really enjoyed this book. I wasn't reading it prior to this Year 1 storyline, but once I picked it up, I'm enjoying what Jeff Lemire and Gavin Guidry, that's the creative team, I'm enjoying what they're giving us. We've got Batman number 5 right here. This is my favorite Batman book on the shelf right now. And then this is the Absolute Superman book that everyone's referring to, that after that issue 14, that basically just becomes another mainstream book. Then we've got Star Wars number 8 right here. I keep saying I'm going to put this book on the chopping block. I need to do something about it. 1776. This is the J. Michael Straczynski miniseries, which has the Marvel characters being sent back in time or having their reality undone to the effect that they're back in colonial times. I'm not really sure what this is about, but I love how the cover looks like the one of the old wrestling magazines. So I picked it up basically just off of that. Looks like the old wrestling magazines like you see on the shelves at the grocery store. That was the main reason I picked this one up. G.I. Joe 26. This is a reprint of the original Hama Marvel book. And this issue right here gives us the origin of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But the difference is it has a different cover than what was originally published in the Marvel line. And I'm currently reading the Marvel Hama G.I. Joe, and I am really surprised at how good that is. In fact, I want to make a video and talk about it at a later date. But, you know, really recommend picking up G.I. Joe, the Marvel Hama book. Surprisingly well done. Then we have got the Energon G.I. Joe. This is Dreadnought War, heading towards the end, part 4 or 5. Everything Dead and Dying, which is one of my favorite books out right now. I can only imagine that it's a mini-series and we're getting close to the end, but I highly recommend this book. The Author Immortal. This is issue number 3. I picked up 1 and 2. I have not read them yet, but I've heard good stuff about this book, so it'll be interesting to see if it lives up to the hype. Die Loaded number 2. It was the first issue was kind of confusing because although I liked the previous volume of Die, it had been a long time since I had read it. So it kind of took me a little bit to get back up to speed and familiarized with all the characters. But the last page of the first issue grabbed me, so I'm definitely back for a second run. Then we have Harley Quinn and Elvira. This is a Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner book. Basically, Harley Quinn and Elvira having a big team up. You know, just Real big fun book. I'm really waiting for this to wrap up because I wait till my miniseries are finished until I jump into them, as I've said before. So I'm really waiting to jump into this one, but I imagine it's going to be a ton of fun. Then we have a couple of Age of Revelation books. Amazing X-Men number 3 right here. As I said, this is the main book to read out of the Age of Revelation. Omega Kids, they're all 3-issue miniseries. Omega Kids, this is number 3, so this is wrapping up. Radioactive Spider-Man number 3, so this is wrapping up. And the Radioactive Spider-Man, the Omega Kids, have been some of the ones that I think are standouts in it. Jed MacKay Avengers. I've heard that this is coming to an end with issue number 36. I've been a big fan of this book since the beginning, but it really has kind of felt like it has just been one huge storyline. It feels like it's just been 30 plus issues of them fighting the same people. And it kind of has a little bit because Kang has basically ran through the whole book. He's been either in the book or he's been the one pulling the strings. So while I've really enjoyed it, I'm kind of ready to see what the next volume of Adventures is going to bring us. Daredevil and Punisher number 2. Jimmy Palmiotti on Punisher. As I've said before, that's always a yes. Amazing Spider-Man Torn, J. Michael Straczynski. This is a really strong book right here. Straczynski writes a kind of a more mature version of Spider-Man than what you get in the mainline title. And one of the things I have liked most about it is Straczynski has talked about on his social media, his Twitter, that if you want more of this, keep buying it. Sales is what dictates a book's livelihood. I don't care how much you tweet about something, how much you put on Instagram, how much you fan art or whatever. Money talks. So put your money where your mouth is and buy this book if you want more of it. Then we have Immortal Thor number 5. Really enjoyed this book by Al Ewing. And then the second issue of Alien versus Captain America. This is another miniseries that's going on. I like Frank Terry. Last thing he wrote was a Sabretooth book, which I really enjoyed. He has a real over-the-top type style to it. So I expect this to be great fun. So that gives us a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So I've got 36 books I picked up this week. So it was a huge, huge week. I have got a lot of work to do in getting all this stuff knocked out so I can give my thoughts about what I read, what I enjoyed, what I didn't, so on and so forth. So I better go ahead and get to it. Till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.